Provincial and District Administrators urged to submit acquittals. Electoral Commission urged to conduct by-election for Hela. And awareness on Bougainville referendum in Brisbane.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Friday's news. All provincial and district administrators have been urged to submit their acquittal reports. Otherwise, there will be no money for service improvement programs. Jackson Y from the Department of Implementation and Rural Development made the remarks when receiving the 2015 DSIP and DSG acquittal reports for Rai Coast District, Hela Province, yesterday in Port Moresby. He said over 17 million kina in district and provincial support funds are parked at the Department of Implementation and Rural Development because of non-acquittals.
The Deputy Secretary of the Program Implementation Wing of DIRD, Jackson Wee, said no acquittals, no money for services improvement programs. These include funds for Provincial Services Improvement Program or PSIP, DSIP and LLG SIP until and unless acquittal reports are furnished as required under the Public Finance Management Act. He said over 17 million kina in provincial and district support grants, which accumulated from 2013 to 2014, were parked at the DIRD because no acquittal reports were presented to the department. These funds were forfeited back to the state through the supplementary budget for last year, 2015. Mr. Wee said the removal of sector allocations for each funds because of the different needs and priorities had greatly affected DIRD's monitoring capability. As a result, the Department of Provincial and Local Level Government's minimum standards were not implemented. He urged all provincial and district administrators, including LLGs, to submit their acquittal reports. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
The first ever formal bilateral meeting between a Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea and the President of the French Republic took place yesterday in Paris. Peter O'Neill said the meeting with Francois Hollande was significant as PNG and France increase economic and cultural ties through the new Papua LNG project. Mr. O'Neill said PNG has made an undertaking to welcome French professionals and instructors with welcome arms as part of the Total SA-led Papua LNG project. He said the Papua LNG project is going to generate 10,000 jobs in Port Moresby and 3,000 new jobs in Gulf Province, and hundreds of French workers will come and live with us. He thanked President Hollande for his support to PNG, and Mr. O'Neill looks forward to him visiting our country in the near future. Leaders of the biggest association group in Hela Province wants the Electoral Commission to conduct a by-election for the provincial seat. The seat was left vacant after Governor Anderson Agiru passed away last month. Hela Gimbu Association Chief Damien Arabagali says only a by-election will bring peace and order in Hela Province. Quinton Alomp reports.
A month after the death of Hela Governor Anderson Agiru, calls are being made for a by-election to be carried out immediately. Hela Gimbu Association leaders say the by-election must be carried out by the Electoral Commission this month. They request the national government to fund the by-election.
We as the founding fathers of this province, we are calling upon the Prime Minister that it's in the interest of peace and order where the PNG LNG project is, that there must be an election of another Governor Agiru to replace the late governor, who's the favorite son of Hela.
The association resolved to petition the Electoral Commissioner to conduct the by-election. They claim that the province is divided after the vote of no confidence against late Governor Agiru in the Provincial Assembly earlier this year. Mr. Rabagali says the by-election will restore unity and cooperation in the new province.
We must have a leader that will lead the people for a proper election in the 2017. Right now we have two camps. So we want unity to prevail in Hela.
The new governor should be elected to manage and start off from where Honorable Lady Anderson Hagiru left.
The association also claimed that the by-election will guarantee the safety of the PNG LNG project in the province.
When you bring normalcy and neutrality to Hela, then there is a guarantee we create environmental conditions for 2017 elections. This will also give a guarantee of security and safety for LNG project.
Calls to appoint one of the 3 open MPs in the province to take up the role as acting governor. The association demanded that they must remain at the electorate and a new governor must be elected through the polls. Quinten Alom, National EMTV News.
University of Goroka administration says the situation at the campus has improved and students will be required to come back to campus to complete the year. Today they met with the Police Minister Robert Atiafa, who made a personal call to parliamentarians to take control of the situation. Bethany Harriman reports from Goroka.
The University of Goroka has come out saying students intended to go back to class before clashes started on Tuesday. Today, the administration stated that while students were still on a boycott supporting the UPNG and Unitec students' petitions, others who had been unruly triggered the clash.
The Academic Senate will be meeting next week, followed by a council meeting also next week, to make a decision on the future of its academic programs, especially with a view to extending the suspension of classes long enough for the healings of wounds and also to ensure the successful completion of semester 1. And so that is as a report.
The administration said students who had gone home have to return to finish the academic year. The university cannot disclose how much it has spent to repatriate the students, but they have called on district and provincial governments to help the students back to the campus. Police Minister Robert Atiafa has made a personal call for university councils to be more critical about the powers of the SRC. He also suggested that politicians must stop paying for school fees.
Now, if this is going to keep going, we are investing in the wrong place, So maybe the government should look at all other models that have been practiced in Australia and New Zealand and elsewhere, where students go and seek loan and pay for their own school fees.
On Tuesday, a fight triggered by drunk students escalated into a riot when members of the local community joined into the fighting. At the Goroka hospital, more than 40 students were admitted, several were seriously injured. The Goroka hospital managed to handle the volume of casualties. Many have since been discharged.
This incident now come up in relating to, not in relating to boycott, but all monkey drink all come up in this problem.
So I see it todo and them wise endless long, MMS, losing wrong long, almost continue long, education long all.
The administration says the Eastern Highlands Police and general community remains calm. Collectively, everyone wants classes to resume. Acting Vice-Chancellor Samuel Kopamu has said those students critically injured have to make a conscious decision whether to return to school or not. The administration has also called on the national government to fund a commission of inquiry to investigate who was involved in these clashes and how it was allowed to escalate. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Goroka.
The body of Christ churches representing evangelical churches in the country have called on political leaders to peacefully end the political unrest. They are urging leaders to have dialogue with the people to solve this matter once and for all. Erica Rupma with this report.
In the absence of Chairman Reverend Pastor Joseph Walters, Deputy Michael Wilson and members expressed sympathy to students who were shot at and injured by police.
We would like to pass our sympathy and sorrow to them and say sorry, daughters and sons. Sometimes we get in crossfire like this. We ask that God's peace be upon you and healing of the Lord to be upon you so that you can recover quickly.
They said the police force is at the forefront of addressing law and order issues, However, whatever incident that unfolded last Wednesday is uncalled for.
The events that unfolded have injured our students, and we'd like to call on our police hierarchy and our police men and women. At the end of the day, they're your people. At the end of the day, we are your people. You are us. Let's solve it with good understanding and then do it the way that we would expect of you as well.
Papua New Guinea is a Christian nation and there's peace and harmony for the last 40 years since independence, and this trend must continue.
If such event does happen from the church, we'd like love to prevail, understanding to prevail, and we'd like to see that solving issues in our Melanesian way as well as godly way is to sit down and talk and sort issues, and that's the way we would like, the church would like to solve. So,
the leaders call for peace and understanding to prevail. In addition, they ask people having an interest not to take sides but identify issues and find an amicable solution.
As much as the churches, not for the government or the students, we are right there praying for them. We are there to make peace and to ensure that peace prevails in our society and in our community.
If there's anything we can say when there is a crisis right now in our nation, is nothing else but to release the Word of God into that situation, because the Word of God has the power to change situations. The Word of God has power to change circumstances.
To maintain peace, rules of engagement must be embraced at all times. Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
National Fraud and Anti-Corruption Directorate Director Matthew Damaru will appear for mention at the Waigani Committal Court on Monday. He was arrested and charged yesterday for not following proper procedures under the Criminal Code Act when issuing instructions for the arrest of National Court Judge Justice Sir Bernard Sakora. Damaru's lawyer, McRonald Nale of Gemma Lawyers, says his client is on 500 kina bail. Quinton Alom reports.
The chief investigator was arrested and brought in for questioning at the Police Internal Investigation Unit at Badili, Port Moresby yesterday afternoon. After 4 hours of questioning, he was charged with 1 count of abuse of office and 1 count of deprivation of liberty under the Criminal Code Act. He was brought to the Waigani police station and released on 500 kina bail. Mr. Damaru will appear before the committal court for mention on Monday. His arrest comes after the Waigani Committal Court last Tuesday dismissed charges laid against Justice Sir Bernard Sakora. Justice Sir Bernard was arrested and charged with judicial corruption on the 11th of April this year by members of the National Fraud and Anti-Corruption Directorate. It was alleged that Justice Sir Bernard received 100,000 kina from a prominent law firm who is battling corruption charges in court. But last Tuesday, the committal court dismissed the charges against Justice Sir Bernard because the police prosecutor could not produce the directions from the public prosecutor for the arrest of Sir Bernard. Damaru was alleged to have written the letter to the public prosecutor asking the directions after the arrest was made. The court then found that the arrest was unlawful. Following this, Damaru was arrested and charged yesterday for not following proper procedures when giving directions for the arrest of high-profile leaders. After the questioning, Damaru said he was arrested for doing his job.
We have been simply doing our job, fighting corruption, and these actions are actually suppressing us from further conducting our investigations and fighting corruption in this country.
Quinten Alom, National EMTV News.
IT company Daytech launch Innovate program. New road link for Karamui in Simbu, and Puma Energy launches new product. Those stories when we come back. Welcome back. Daytech, in partnership with New Horizons, have been working together for almost 5 years now, bringing the latest in learning innovation for young Papua New Guineans. They have now introduced 2 more programs targeting working-class people as well as grade 12 graduates. Melisi Corviro reports.
The first program, according to Daytech CEO Tralochana Reddy, is called the Job Skills Training. This is a program developed to essentially fill the job skills gaps lacking in the working class population and to instill them in new graduates who are yet to join the workforce.
When you are going for the industry, for the workforce, you should know the MS Office applications and you should know the communication skills. and the time management and stress management. These are all missing with a lot of people.
DATAC also announced the extension of their already existing Diploma in Information Technology to students who wish to study from home or from their workspace. Up until now, students could only study in a classroom-based environment in DATAC's regional learning centers. This program, however, allows students to learn using a software designed to compensate for tutors with preloaded tutorial videos and the option of calling Port Moresby-based tutors for further explanations should the need arise.
How can we cater for students who do not have electricity in the house? So DATAC offers solar lighting kits as well. So we have come up with a product which the parents can buy or the student can buy, which is very, very reasonably priced, where they can charge their laptop and be able to have access to that materials.
DATAC's partnership with the New Horizons allows clients to access the latest, most convenient learning innovations to all corners of PNG and play a vital role towards the future economy of PNG. This was highlighted by the Vice President of New Horizons, Michael Smith, who was in PNG to conduct a review operation on their current and running programs.
But we have everything from our highly interactive cloud-based online live training to the ultra-flexible award-winning mentored learning. So clients can choose how and when they learn, have the benefit of one-to-one mentoring, and they can choose to either study from home, from their workplace, or a DATAC New Horizons Learning Centre.
The review, he said, would assess whether the current programs are running effectively in order to determine where there is a need for improvement or to adopt best practices observed in other countries. This maintains the quality of student output, which to date stands at an impressive 70% staff placement of those who graduate from these programs. Melissa Gaviro, National EMTV News.
Karamui District expects to realize its dream of a road link after a commitment by the national government of 10 million kina. The link will connect Karamui to Chuave and onwards to the provincial capital, Kundiawa. The promise of the road comes after years of waiting. Scott Wide reports.
For as long as they can remember, the people of Karamui district have lived without road access, and they've faced the usual challenges of poor health and education services, things they've come to generally accept as part of their lives. But there's now talk of a road, a bridge, better services, hopefully before the elections happen next year.
This is an outstanding road, both at the provincial level and at the district level. All these years we've tried and we've been knocking on doors, and it was really comparing to get a commitment from yesterday.
The government's promised 10 million kina, and the visit to Karamui by the local MP, accompanied by the younger governor, Sir Peter Ipetas, appearing to bolster confidence in the service delivery mechanism.
We have to give credit where it's due. And I think this government in the last 4 years has done a considerable job in trying to develop not only Port Moresby and Lae, but all the electorates throughout Papua New Guinea. So,
Karamui is a region largely untapped, and like many a rhetoric from commentators have expressed, it has the potential to become a leading district in Simbu's coffee and vegetable production. But recognizing that potential is just about where it is right now. And the local Member of Parliament is nearing the end of his term. He hopes that change will be seen before the people go to the polls.
So this access will open up economic opportunities for our people, make access in and of our electorate better for our people also.
Simbu has received a lot of attention in the last 5 years, new schools, infrastructure and promise of a road upgrade. There's also a commitment by the Prime Minister for a hydroelectricity project worth the equivalent of 15 billion kina. But for Karamui, their biggest concern is a road that will trigger new developments. Scott Wide, National EMTV News, Lae.
Puma Energy has launched its new product, Puma Gas, in Lae this afternoon. It's part of the company's continued commitment in the country. Marketing manager of the liquefied petroleum gas, Gabriel Laka, says this is the next stage the company is taking to roll out the new service to other parts of the country.
Puma Energy is a mid and downstream oil company. The firm enters into the PNG market in July 2014 when it purchased Interoil. It is the largest entity in petroleum distribution in the country. Last year, Puma Energy became the first local supplier of bitumen in PNG. Bitumen is used as an energy source product as opposed to commonly used bottled fuel propane. Laka says despite the economic crisis PNG is facing, Puma Energy is still committed in its efforts in making investments in the country. And Puma Gas is an example of this investment. It is a local product made from crude oil that the company gets from Kutubu. It is refined at Napa Napa in Port Moresby.
And so our investment plans still stands. This is one of them.
The liquefied petroleum gas or LPG is a new energy source product. However, most households in PNG are yet to use it. In the urban areas, about 15% of households use gas for cooking, while the majority of households use electricity, kerosene or firewood.
So there's a huge potential there. The only thing is people are not aware of gas.
Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Ley.
The PNG Defence Force Engineering Battalion at Ley's Igam Barracks has opened reconstructed buildings which have been part of a maintenance project since 2013. A 5-year infrastructure development plan aimed at extending health services to nearby communities was also announced today.
This medical center serves the people within Igam Barracks in Ley and surrounding communities. It's been in operation for over 50 years now, and facilities and equipment were in desperate need of repair. Today, Engineering Battalion officers as well as their families celebrated the opening of a refurbished medical center.
Me am master sol time me bin all bina asking me lo open him dua blouse karem lumpla me bin am mas na go through because at the first time where service come inside the community blomi where me non up artwork more lo walk about blomi lo go long way lo pine him this kind of service.
For many years, women who were pregnant had to be referred to bigger hospitals in town because of limited maternal health capacity available at this clinic. The redevelopment also includes a dental unit.
Since the downsizing, year 2000, and following the Bougainville crisis, year 2000, our funding went down. We decided to have downsizing, so all our technical personnel were put on retrenchment. So basically our lab facilities, X-ray facilities, you see is closed, and our dental. So we decided slowly we are opening it up now. We're having the dental facilities now, and hopefully we might get the laboratory and X-ray going so that we can qualify, standardize it into an hospital.
Huon Gulf District and Morobe Provincial Government supported the reconstruction with assistance from the Australian Defence Force. It has indicated a funding struggle within the PNG Defence Force. Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Ley.
And now looking at our finance news, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.3160 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3085 US, $0.4157 Australian dollars, $0.2716 euro, and 31.97 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa, and copper closed lower, while coffee closed the day higher. Palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 36 points higher, the ASX closed at 22.60 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 21.10 points higher. More local stories and more details on the gunman who killed 49 people in Florida, United States. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the news. The autonomous Bougainville government has thanked the Irish cultural group of Tinputs for representing Papua New Guinea at the 12th Festival of Pacific Arts in Guam. Deputy Speaker Francesca Semoso says the Irish cultural group raised the country's flag high as ambassadors of arts and culture. Fabian Hakelitz has more.
The Irish cultural group of Tinputs were part of the Papua New Guinea delegation to the 12th Festival of Pacific Arts in Guam. Bougainville's Deputy Speaker Francisca Semoso, speaking at the welcome reception in Buka, said the Irish cultural group have made Bougainville proud as ambassadors for both Papua New Guinea and the autonomous region of Bougainville.
It's always something to be proud of when we see a group from Bougainville, you're going to mark him Papua New Guinea, or you're going to mark him Bougainville at an international festival.
Witnessing the occasion were also officers from the National Cultural Commission.
They did a good job in Bougainville. They performed very, very well. Wherever they went, Pantiman be anymore. And they had a lot of supporters.
For youths like Augustine and Samantha, showcasing PNG's rich and diverse cultural tradition in another country strengthens the trade relations in the Pacific.
Now we look at some planting casa or money lose him now. So you some Bougainville or you must hold him at culture with me. Now we must die at on time culture with me.
Experiencing planting something instead of me looking at some people, vulnerable country, how will he live, how will he perform more culture.
Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News, Buka.
With the referendum date now set for June 15, 2019, Bougainvillians are now focused on preparations for the crucial vote. Bougainvillians residing in Brisbane, Australia also have a fair idea of the referendum call. This follows an awareness during the 11th anniversary celebration in Brisbane.
In commemorating the 11th anniversary of Bougainville's autonomy, Bougainvillians outside of Bougainville residing in Brisbane, Australia were familiarized with referendum call. An awareness was conducted by a team led by Bougainville Women's Federation President Rose P.A. The awareness generated positive feedbacks from participants. Bougainvillians, joined by other Papua New Guineans and friends from Australia and overseas, marked that 11th ABG Day, beginning with a Holy Eucharistic celebration of Thanksgiving. The Catholic priests were amused of Bougainville's contribution of Christianity and the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands. It was a fun-filled day of entertainment to mark this important day of Bougainville's autonomy. Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
And now turning overseas, the U.S. is learning more disturbing details about the Orlando nightclub gunman. It turns out that Omar Mateen had shown violent tendencies since he was in elementary school.
This killer's pattern of disturbing behavior extended back to his childhood. Even as a young boy, Omar Mateen was troubled and disruptive. A former classmate at Mariposa Elementary School in Port St. Lucie, Florida, tells CNN Mateen once threatened to bring a gun to school and kill everyone. That was in 4th or 5th grade. He was 9 or 10 years old. The classmate could not recall what punishment Mateen received, but said it was, quote, a very big deal at the time. Documents obtained by CNN from the St. Lucie County schools show Mateen was disciplined 31 times between 1992 and 1999. These school records describe Mateen as, quote, rude and aggressive, and note he talked frequently about violence and sex.
He was always a little out there, didn't really have too many friends.
Robert Zirkle rode the same bus route as Mateen during high school. Zirkle and other former classmates tell CNN in the days following September 11th, Mateen claimed Osama bin Laden was his uncle and made light of the attacks.
He was acting like a plane, like he had his arms out. He was like making a plane noise, and like he made like a boom sound or like an explosion type of sound, fell in his seat and was like laughing about it and like it was a joke or something. My friends and I were like, if you don't stop, man, it's going to be a problem.
As a teenaged employee at Gold's Gym in Port St. Lucie, Omar Mateen was to be avoided.
He had that kind of aura that I don't think people really wanted to engage him because they don't know where they would go.
Stefan Convalius held personal training sessions at Gold's Gym.
One of my clients, she was completing her set on a squat rack, and she, was in full stride all the way down, and he made a derogatory statement about her anatomy, which, I mean, it was just completely unacceptable and loud at that. Like, he wanted her to hear it.
Staff members at Gold's Gym could not recall any disciplinary issues with Mateen. A few years later, he was transferred from a job as a security guard at a courthouse after making inflammatory comments about terrorism. That's when the FBI started investigating him.
He said he hoped that law enforcement would raid his apartment and assault his wife and child so that he could martyr himself.
Mateen's first wife said he verbally and physically abused her to the point that her family had to rescue her to get her out of the marriage.
Instability, emotional instability, sickness, mentally, he was mentally unstable and mentally ill. That's the only explanation that I could give, and he was obviously disturbed.
These documents from the St. Lucie County Schools show that Omar Mateen had repeated interventions with school counselors, psychologists, and others. But since the shootings, his father has repeatedly said he thought his son was normal.
PNG has beaten Malaysia in a friendly football match. I'll have the details in Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. SP PNG Hunters versatile back Adex Wera has been included in the team's 20-man squad ahead of this weekend's home match against the Wynnum Manly Seagulls. The Hunters will be hoping to keep their unbeaten record clean against the Seagulls in what is predicted to be a tough encounter.
Sunday afternoon will see the National Football Stadium come to life when the visiting Wynnum Manly Seagulls bid to turn their season around. The fourth-placed SP PNG Hunters will be adamant to keep their place in the top four in the Queensland Interest Super Cup. Ase Boas is in jeopardy ahead of the match after being placed on report during last weekend's nail-biting win over the South Logan Magpies. This weekend's roster sees Adex Wera named ahead of the match on Sunday afternoon. Coach Michael Marum is quite confident in the boys performing well this weekend, but the team is also carrying a few injury concerns which could call for a change in his lineup.
As far as I can see, around this time last year, a lot of injuries. The boys are having a lot of injuries and suspensions, and the team is like it's not stable. But at the moment, we do have two suspensions, but the injuries with the boys it's not like major injuries, and it's just little. So I think we are doing very well at the moment, and we should go far if we concentrate on little things and then keep that pace of winning and training hard. But we are doing great.
A win for the home side will see them hang on to a spot in the top four after 15 rounds of the competition. But the Seagulls will be desperate for a win, which will without a doubt prove to be a thriller. Dion Kombeng, National EMTV Sports.
Karamui in the Simbu province has big dreams for the future of rugby league in the district. Due to its isolation, the district has not contributed to the development of rugby league in the province, but things are about to change. The district administration has begun providing uniforms for its junior teams with the hope of developing a new crop of players from the junior level. The junior league's affiliation to existing leagues is a step which Karamui hopes will pave way for junior development in the rural district. To cricket, the Hong Kong men's squad will host Papua New Guinea Barramundis in a three-game, one-day international series in November. The series will be played during a busy period for Hong Kong, following a 3-week tour of Ireland and Scotland.
The fixtures will be the first ODI series hosted in Hong Kong outside of ICC World Cricket League and will be played at the Tin Wong Road Recreation Ground in Mongkok. The 3-game series will be played on Friday, November 4th, Sunday, November 6th, and Tuesday, November 8, 2016. Papua New Guinea hosted Hong Kong in Townsville for their first ever ODI series, which saw the Barramundis play some quality cricket and win the series 2-0. After the recent match between PNG and Kenya in Port Moresby, PNG went on to win the series and improve their world rankings from 16th to 13th. The series will be played during a busy period for Hong Kong, following a 3-week tour of Ireland and Scotland and right before a trip away to play Kenya in 2 ICC WCLC matches. Hong Kong head coach Simon Cook says they have played PNG a lot over the years and the players have detailed knowledge of each other, which always makes for an interesting series. Elijah Levet, National, MTV Sports.
To football, Papua New Guinea has beaten Malaysia by 2-0 in the first international friendly since March. It was an entertaining match with PNG coach Fleming Siritzlev introducing 5 new players as well against a Malaysian team that is ranked 23 places above Papua New Guinea on the world rankings. While Malaysia started off the strongest of the two sides, PNG striker Tommy Sami would open the scoring after a perfect pass from Raymond Gunemba. A fumble by Malaysian goalkeeper Mond Farhan Abu Bakar would allow Sami to double the lead for Papua New Guinea. The final score 2-0 in favour of Papua New Guinea. Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back. Minister for Sports and National Events Justin Chichenko believes West New Britain can deliver the best PNG Games yet. The minister attributed this to the standards set by the province in relation to building new infrastructures to host the PNG Games. Lorraine Genia reports.
Sports Minister Justin Chichenko has commended West New Britain for its commitment to the 7th PNG Games and progress of its preparations.
PNG Games in West New Britain is a very important games for the region. And as Minister in charge of sports, I've come here to personally inspect all the facilities that they are building for the PNG Games in November this year. Now, with the Governor, we've driven around to all the different satellite sites where they'll be building mini stadiums as well as the huge sporting complex. Now, I am really impressed with the workmanship and the administration and management of those particular sites.
Chichenko was accompanied by PNG Sports Foundation Executive Director Peter Chamlili Jr. and a team from the Sports Ministry to follow up on the progress of venues. The new facilities include a main stadium with a multi-purpose sports centre in the same precinct in the heart of Kimbe, an AFL Oval in Hoskins and touch football ovals in Kulingi. A component of the sports funding for infrastructure has also been utilised to build new classroom blocks and living quarters at elementary, primary and secondary schools, as well as various other institutions.
We are going to deliver a very good stadium, very good facilities that are manageable and functional for the people of West New Britain. And that's the bottom line. I'm hoping that my greatest outcome of these games would be the intellectual property that we've developed to building these facilities. We can now safely hand something over to the next province.
The target of high standard sports facilities being built include a synthetic track and the new classroom blocks in over 10 different institutions is testament of the great vision and standard that Governor Muthaville and West New Britain have set their sights on.
All these facilities towards education alone, it's well over 10 million kina. The overall infrastructure cost for this entire 2016 7th PNG Games, it's running around 38 million kina overall. So together with the national government and the provincial government, we are looking at spending about 38 million kina to build these major infrastructures. That includes the 3 satellite venue and also 1 major sporting venue.
A total investment of 38 million kina is from the joint funding from the provincial and national government for preparations and administrations. Lorraine Genia, National, MTV Sports.
Meanwhile, the Southern Highlands province has already commenced preparations to host the Games in 2018. Executive Director of the PNG Sports Foundation, Peter Samlili Jr., when speaking in Kimbe, said the 2018 PNG Games would be just as challenging given the logistical and economic demands of hosting an event of this kind in the Highlands region.
Southern Highlands have already started developing their strategy to deliver their games in the Southern Highlands. But I guess having a perimeter to work with the West New Britain Hawk and what they're doing today in terms of building the infrastructure would be a platform to help them, guide them through how they would deliver their games, and looking around the budget and how much it would cost to deliver such facilities to meet the current economic status of Southern Highlands, but also something that is manageable and functionable for people of Southern Highlands, just like what West New Britain is doing today.
That ends True Kai Sports. The weather details next.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, fine for Port Moresby, Kerema, Alatau and Popondetta, and squally showers for Daru. In the Momase region, cloudy with showers for Lae, Wau, and showers for Medang and Wewak, and showers with thunderstorms for Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, showers with thunderstorms for Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo Rabaul, Kimbe, and rain with thunderstorms for Buka. And in the Highlands region, showers with developing fog for Goroka, and showers with thunderstorms for Mount Hagen, Kundiawa, Mendi, and Wabeg. And now recapping the headlines again. Provincial and District Administrators urged to submit acquittals before funding is available for delivery services. Hela leaders call on Electoral Commission to conduct by-election, and Bougainvillians in Brisbane raise awareness on referendum 2019. And that's the way it is this Friday, the 17th of June 2016. Enjoy your weekend. Good night.